things go as we go forward. Look for the challenge of playing the Raiders. Good football team. Antonio does a nice job with that group, as do his coordinators, Patrick, Luke, and then Tom, who you guys know. And they've got Marv Lewis on that staff too, who he and I go way back a lot of years, so knowing each other, but all good football coaches, and they've got good players. So we got to make sure we have a good week of practice, and we'll get that going today. So that time's yours.
Coach, I know nothing's official about DeAndre Hopkins. The league tweeted out he's joining your team. Maybe not specifically about him being on your team, but you've competed against him many times over the years. Just what kind of player has he been to compete against?
Yeah, Veach is dealing with all that, so I'm hush on that. Yeah.
With Juju, did he just maybe push it too hard to try to get back and play? I know he wanted to play. Probably be a little more cautious with him now, or?
Yeah, we'll be cautious with him. Yeah, well, we thought we were being cautious the last time, so with him, but this time it's a little bit worse. So, yeah.
Just around the league, there's been a lot of injuries with a lot of wide receivers. Do you have any kind of pulse on just why it's been?
Yeah, I mean, these things are kind of secular. They happen like that. But I don't have an answer for you now. Yeah.
Andy Hopkins is not here, and he will not be practicing today. Is that right?
I know nothing.
Okay.
Andy, last time you guys played the Raiders, obviously was the last time you lost. It's probably hard to summarize, but what was it that you pushed off from after that game that sort of reset your team late last year?
Yeah, they came in and got after us, and that's their personality, and so we didn't handle that the right way. But I thought we learned from it and got better for it, which was the important thing after something like that.
It helped you know what your own strengths and weaknesses were a little more, and how to contour to that. Is that fair to say?
No, I don't think necessarily. I just think we could have been a little bit more ready, which is my responsibility, and that part didn't take place.
Coach, Kareem Hunt and you guys called runs between the tackles record times in 16. How tough is somewhat of an identity shift on the fly when circumstances call for some of these guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, in his case, I mean, it was important. I mean, for himself, to come in and do well, and he had stayed in shape, which I think was important, and he's been able to contribute and help us keep moving forward, and I think everybody appreciates that part, but I think most of all, he was on a mission to get that, make it right. And so my hat goes off to the kid for that.
Andy, with the players that you have on board, we're about to talk to Nicole and Jaden on both sides of the ball. Just what are you seeing at the confidence level on the receivers that you presently have on the roster, and then obviously the defensive matchup?
Yeah, sure. I like the receivers we have. I've mentioned that before. We've got guys that can step in and play, and everybody has confidence in them. So that we're fortunate that way. I think Veach has done a good job with all that, and giving everybody, all the coaches an opportunity to be successful because of that. And these guys, opportunities, when they arise, they've got to take advantage of them, and that's what they do. And people believe in them.
Andy, back to Kareem Hunt for a second. How have you seen him make a difference in the running game? Are there specific ways you've seen him come in and give you guys a lift that way?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had Pop before that, and then the guys that stepped in for Pop did a nice job. So, and rotated with him, and so we've, he's just a different style. They're all of them are actually different, and but he's got that pounded in at you style, and it's helped us, that way. So you lose a great player like we did with Pacheco, and these other guys step up, and Kareem come off the street and help us out. That's great, and we still have Hilaire sitting back there, who's a great player too. So it's a good position to be in, as from a coach's standpoint.
Andy, with the player of Max Crosby's caliber, what do you kind of have to be mindful of whenever you're calling plays there?
Yeah, I mean everything. He's a great player. He's one of the best in the business of what he does, and he's going to give you an honest down every down. So he doesn't take plays off, and our guys know that and respect the heck out of him. So you got to be ready to play 4 quarters against him.
Todd?
Coach, you guys, maybe in June, you thought your roster was going to be this before the injuries. You probably had a whole big scheme planned for the season, and as Pete mentioned, on the fly, you've had to kind of change a lot of things. I know you love drawing up plays, and you work tirelessly. Has this been a different kind of year to do that? And who have maybe you leaned on the staff to kind of work through all of that stuff?
No, all the coaches do a great job. We really haven't had to change it much. I mean, the guys have stepped in and done a nice job, so we've been able to ride that part of it. But I'm fortunate to have coaches that are great teachers and motivators. The guys like to play for them, and so it's and they want to do well. The players want to do well. The coaches want to do well. So I'm fortunate that way.
Andy, with Brown, I mean, when he first got injured and had the re-injury, I know that the timeline was pretty lengthy. I just wondered in the past few weeks, have you had any more finite timeline about the possibility that he's back for you this year?
Yeah, he's doing great. That I can tell you. He's doing great. Seems to be on schedule or a little bit ahead of schedule. So I can't tell you that. I mean, I don't know that. It's going to be a while though. So, but he's a relentless worker. I can tell you that much, and I can tell you he's doing very well for what he's got there. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Yep. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
All right, guys, go ahead and fire away.
You guys have acquired players over the years, had to get them ready. What's the process of, if someone new were to come in, getting them ready for a game in a couple days?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting with the coaches. I think our coaches do a great job of getting guys up to speed, and you've seen that throughout this year already. Bringing in guys, getting them up to speed fast, and then letting them go out there and make impact and do what they're great at. And so that's stuff that I think the coaches really do well. And then at me as a quarterback, I just try to be on the same page with the guys that are in there whenever I'm taking a snap.
Patrick, hypothetically, you had a receiver that was good at contested catches. Like, what's your comfort level in throwing like that, those sorts of throws on the field?
Yeah, I think in my time, we've had receivers that can make some of those contested catches, and once you build that relationship and build that trust, you put them up there and let guys go out there and make plays. I think that's what's special about Coach Reid's offense is that it adapts to whoever's in there. He has different ways he can utilize your strengths, and then it's my job to go out there and put guys in chances, give them chances to go out there and make plays.
What's your biggest takeaway, Patrick, going through the experience before the past 2 years of bringing in a receiver mid-season? What are perhaps a good takeaway that you learned from it and something that you can use from that experience for this new one?
I think the biggest thing for me is whenever a new guy gets into the building, is just getting on that same page as quickly as possible. Even with guys like Kareem in the running back position, just being able to talk with him throughout the protection calls, talk with him kind of throughout the plays, making sure he knows what his job is to do, and then letting him go out and execute it. And I've dealt with that throughout my entire career, bringing new guys in. That's part of the NFL. And like I said, I think the coaches do a great job of making sure guys are prepared and so they can go out there and have success.
Patrick, what do you remember most about that last Raiders game last year, and what sort of it did for you guys, the mentality after that?
I think more than anything, more than even the play on the field, I think it was just a wake-up call for us to know that we're not going to be able to just come to the game and win. We kind of battled through the year, and it was like everybody was just we were just trying to build, especially I feel like myself, we were just building for the playoffs. We weren't even worried about the regular season, and I think you've seen that mentality since then as the guys are really taking every single practice and getting the best out of it, so that every single week we can play our best football. And if we don't play our best football, we try to get better that next week. And I think that's translated into this season. And so we're continuing to get better as the season goes on, and that's how you have to play in the NFL. And it's still early, but I feel like we've had a great start to it.
Does it seem to be that it would be just as much that way, you're just as conscious of that way as ever now that you're actually playing the Raiders again, like that mentality is what will be front of your mind?
Yeah, I mean, we know we're going to get their best shot. I mean, that's kind of how it's been every single week. But obviously, when you play a divisional opponent, like I've said in the past, it's a real rivalry between our two teams and our two organizations. You're going to get their best shot, and we're gonna go out there and match that and let the best team win.
Is there any more to this one? I know they all count the same, divisional games, whatever, but you know, the talk afterwards that they have the secret, how to stop you, the little Kermit the Frog thing, all that stuff. Does that resonate with you at all this week?
I mean, I don't know if you would say resonates with me. I think just knowing that the competitive spirit that they have on that side is going to match the competitive spirit that we have. I think it's going to be a fun football game that we're going to get the best out of each and every player on that football field. And like I said, the best team will win.
Patrick, with a guy like Max Crosby, what do you have to be mindful of when you're back there?
Yeah, I mean, you have to know where he's at on every single snap because he plays extremely hard every single snap, and he's extremely talented. And to have a guy that be that talented and to have that high of a motor, that's special. It takes a lot because you don't always feel great, and you might not be getting. He gets chipped or he gets whatever it is. He doesn't let that bother him. He doesn't let that affect him. He just keeps playing extremely hard every single snap, and so a great challenge for us to go up against him in that defense. And so I think the guys are ready for it.
To Nick's point, you guys have jogged back and forth a little bit, you and Max. Just how would you describe the respect level between you guys, you know, when it is off the field?
Yeah, it's a high level of respect. I mean, I respect guys that are going to leave it out there every single snap and do whatever they can to let their team have a chance to win. And that's the type of guys I want in this building. And that's what you see with guys on our team is that guys are going to lay it on the line every single snap to win the football game. And that's what it takes to be great in this league. Because, I mean, everybody's good. I mean, everybody's good in this league. It's about who's going to do the extra thing, the extra step, the extra pass rusher, the extra throw, whatever it is to make sure that their team has a better chance to win. And he's one of those guys. And we're on the field. We're going to compete. That's the type of guys that we are, but we have a ton of respect mutually between each other off of it.
We'll
Are there ways,
Let's go across the room, Adam. Go ahead, Mike.
Just not to linger on this too much, Patrick, but that shot you took to the throat the other day, did you hear anything from Collins, or do you have any reason to know by now whether it was inadvertent or you felt bad about it?
I honestly don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's not like anyone got hurt or anything like that. I mean, I threw an interception. I was more upset about the interception than actually getting hit. So whenever you throw an interception, you set yourself up to get hit by somebody, and so that's on me.
Dennis?
As a quarterback who spends so much time with receivers during their offseason, I mean, bring guys down there and work with them, how big of a difference is it between having that whole offseason to work with a guy and that short time? I mean, clearly it's a difference, but how big of a difference is it for timing and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it probably affects some things, I think, at least initially, but at the same time, I mean, in this league, you have to be able to adapt fastly, and I think that's something that we've been great at is putting guys in position to succeed, getting the reps when we can throughout the week, and then at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play football, and obviously you want as much time as possible, but at the same time, you have to be able to adapt and on the fly and make stuff happen whenever you're out there.
Your long run down the sideline last week, people have kind of gone back and looked at it. They think it was like somewhat controversial. It looked like you were going to go out of bounds. What's that line like to make sure that they don't think you're going out of bounds and following whatever rules are, as far as like the unwritten rules of football?
I didn't believe on that play right there I was really showing like I was going to go out of bounds. I don't want to ever put a defender in a bad spot. I mean, I know that we're all competing, so I'm going to, when I go out of bounds, I'm going to go out of bounds. I'm not going to try to fake a guy out by using like a loophole in the rules. At the time, I was going to cut back and get the first down. And then once I cut back, I was going to do one of those dives for the first down, but I cut back and realized I had a lane to run. So I went down the sideline, and then, I mean, I literally ran out of bounds on that exact play. So when I go out of bounds, I'm going to go out of bounds. And whenever I'm trying to get a first down, I'll get a first down. But I'm not trying to use a loophole or anything in the rules to try to cheat in any way.
Go ahead.
Patrick, last Friday night, you guys got to be on hand for a pretty good high school football game. Got to watch Coach Nagy's son lead a game-winning drive. How important is it for professionals such as yourselves to have a presence like that in the community?
Yeah, I mean, one in the community, I think the Chiefs organization in general has had a great history of having a great presence in the community. It's something that Clark Hunt talks about in the first meeting we have every single year is giving back to the community because they give so much to us and being at Arrowhead every single week and showing support to our foundations. And so just being out there, being at a game, being at a sport I love, letting my kids run around, and then seeing Coach Nagy's son and Coach Merritt's son go at it. I mean, those kids I've seen grow up. So it's cool to see them live out their dream. Both of them will move on and go to Division I colleges. And so it was cool to see their last matchup that they'll get to go up against each other, and it was a great football game.
We'll do our last four. Go ahead, Adam.
Patrick, in what ways have you seen Kareem make a difference in the running game since he's been here?
Yeah, I think he's just done a great job of getting what's there and then making plays whenever his number's called. He seems like every single time he's falling forward, getting 5 yards, 6 yards, whatever it is, and that makes my job easier at the quarterback position and the offense just in general when you're in those advantageous situations and down and distances. And so Kareem has done a great job. He's done a great job not only running the ball, catching the ball. He's done a great job in pass protection. I think as we start getting more and more guys back and healthier, he might not have to have 30 carries or whatever it is, but whenever he gets his opportunity, he's going to go out there and make it count.
Harold?
Along the lines of the high school question, on behalf of all the Texas affiliates, you've been inducted to the Texas High School Hall of Fame. Just your comments on just your memories of playing at White House and what an honor it is to be with such a great illustrious history of high school football in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, I brag about it all the time. I think Texas high school football is the best in the world, just because the way that you have pride in the area that you're from and how you've grown up. And I played the high school football with the same kids I played Little League baseball with, and that's just how it is in Texas. Is you grow up with that dream, and it's like the movie Friday Night Lights, and you grow up with that dream of winning a state championship. I wasn't able to do that then, but we had a lot of fun times, and I still look back and watch. Even last week, I looked at the record of my high school football team. I just have so much pride in the area that I grew up in, and it's a tremendous honor to be in the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame just because of all the great players and great people that are in it.
Patrick, I know that there's been obviously a perception that Travis is not great at blocking, but from your example of watching him and seeing what he's done this season, what do you think people don't realize about how effective he can be at blocking?
Yeah, I think he's a winner, man. I think that's more than anything. He doesn't care how we win. He doesn't care if he's getting catches. He doesn't care what it is. He's going to make an impact on the game, and that's what he's done this year. He's had games where he's caught the ball and made plays in the receiving game, and he's had games where he's made critical blocks to get other guys open. And you need those type of guys on your team, and it's the little things that help you win those games at the end of the day. And he takes it upon himself to do the little things right so that he can go out there and we can have success as a team. And one of the best leaders I've been around just because he'll do it all, and he doesn't have to. And so it shows everybody else that you better pick your game up because the Hall of Famer is out there blocking his tail off harder than anybody.
Last one, Matt.
Kind of a similar question, but resiliency has been a trademark of the culture around here for a long time. You're a big part of that. But guys come and go. Not everyone has that attitude. Everyone here seems to have it. Where's that championship mentality come from, do you think?
Yeah, it's a culture that I was even brought into. Coach Reid built a great culture with guys, a lot of leaders, Derek Johnson, Justin Houston, Alex Smith, these guys that kind of turned this organization into a time where it wasn't winning as much to where it is now. And I was able to join in that, and I kind of followed suit, and I just try to make my own impact with the guys that I have around me. And every single time we get a young guy in, we go to work, we have the extreme hard training camp, whatever it is, and then we come into the season ready to go out there and compete. And so it becomes a family-like atmosphere, and whenever you have a bunch of brothers on the football field, there's nothing you won't do to give everything you have for the guys standing beside you, and that's where you come across wins in this league.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.